Castle of Castle Does, and I'm bringing you Tesseract. Now, Tesseract was brought to my attention from an email. I had absolutely no idea that the Cube engine was still under development in any way, shape, or form. The Cube engine was mentioned a few times when I was talking about Reflex, and this is pretty fucking cool because the Cube engine is an engine where it's possible to map and play within the same exact environment, kind of like Reflex. In fact, this is actually one of the an example that can be used to show that style of level design, just in the same way that Reflex is done, where people are able to like play your level while you're working on it and shoot each other. That level of interactivity, being able to just log on, like all the things that I've touted Reflex being capable of, well, Tesseract can do as well. I'm getting some frames dropped. So it seems to have taken on the identity of a realistic first-person shooter. No problem, no problem. So sort of like a little CS:GO thing going on here. Two weapons. So it's not really much of a game at the moment, but sort of an insta-jib thing going on. So what makes this engine? It's the engine that's being showcased, really, not the gameplay. So what makes this engine interesting is that it's actually a voxel engine. So it does all of the really cool stuff, like with Reflex, where people can play while you're editing, but it also has a special type of voxels that work in a different way than any other voxel engine I have seen so far. And how is that? Well, you see how I can just go in and like I can extrude voxels up. I can apply materials to this. I can select a bunch at the same exact time. Don't you wish you can do this in Minecraft? How? Right? I'm messing up someone's perfectly good map. So so you're probably thinking, well, that's kind of cool, but that's not that special, right? Well, there's a little more going on here. Is that this engine actually allows you to manipulate things in more than just a couple of ways. So, like, I can select the side of this and turn this into a ramp. Now, in one of my most recent Engine Wars video, I talked about microvoxeling, and I mentioned this engine. Well, all of these things are an example of microvoxeling. Microvoxeling being any type of voxels that are actually smaller in size than a voxel, but still made out of voxel geometry. Well, this engine takes that whole concept to a whole new level. See, you might be thinking, well, that's the size of what I have selected right now, and that's all it is, right? Well, that's not true. You can change the size of this. So, boom, now I am working with an object that's actually even larger. So, like, so I can find a spot that's a little easier to see in the shadow. So now I have these much larger thing. Hey, I'm working with this larger geometry, and now I can make an even larger ramp, right? Well, okay, so I can make things larger. Well, watch what happens when I make things smaller. All of a sudden now I'm dealing with a voxel that's tiny, right? And it goes really tiny. Whoa! So when you're dealing with voxels of this size, and you can manipulate their edges so you can make ramps and things of that nature, all of a sudden you're dealing with, well, what the hell, I could just build anything I want. Like, I can even build things that are fairly complicated, like, say, a staircase out of voxels. So I'm able to do this weird voxel engine that completely turns voxeling on its side, because this is not how I'm used to working with voxels. In fact, I don't even think of them this way. I always think of voxels as being like a set size, you know what I mean? And in this case, I can like change the size all the way down to the little tiny thing, or make this big giant voxels, and then so now all of a sudden there's like all these weird extra controls, and you can curve the corners, and this is actually a fairly powerful engine. And then I can also copy these things. So like if I increase the size of this and I do this, I could copy this and like paste it over here. Ah, I mean, okay, so one of the other things too, which is always really difficult to deal with when it comes to voxel engines, that this engine is just completely and utterly like decimating all competition on this front, is the lighting. This is all like real time. Like, to my knowledge, it seems to be all computed in real time. So, well, that makes me want to find the sunlight. Where are you? Are you it? Are you the sun? Okay, I have you selected. How good is this? How good will this be? And it's doing nothing by moving its physical position, probably because it's a projected. That might not be the sun. Hold on a moment while I find the sun. This looks like it's just a bounce light of some sort. Well, it seems like I can't quite, I'm not able to figure out exactly how I can modify the skylighting. I'm sure there's a way to do it, and I'll have to do a little bit more research on it. But the lighting is using some kind of a global illumination. So even if I go through and delete all of the light entities that are in here for bouncing, all of the light is real time. Like, it looks like it might be doing some kind of smoothing for certain things, but so there is probably some kind of a compile process to give things a nice smoother touch. Well, anyway, I'll have to do a little bit more research on that front. However, I'm going to be keeping track of this engine and wanting to try and build stuff for it. At least build something. I definitely think that's going to be a good idea. And maybe learn a little bit more, but I definitely want to bring this out to everyone's attention. Anyone who's interested in this style of level design. This engine is also really good because it fully supports models. It looks like there's plans to do things like world geometry prefabs, which might be hierarchical instancing, which would be absolutely beneficial for an engine of this style. For whatever reason, I'm unable to modify this, but we have the ability to place. Hey, I'm gonna place one of these. Whoa, what's it doing all the way over there? Come over here. Okay, entity snapping turned on, and if I hold R and use the mouse wheel, that allows me to rotate the object. You know, if I have one suggestion for this, copy how Unity does this, where it's a little bit better how they actually rotate and move objects. And if that doesn't quite work for you, then the way the test construction set does it, where you have Z, X, and C to to force it along different axes. I don't know. Anyway, this does work fairly well, and I do like that it can be a really fine-tuned movement. Um, now I have a printer hanging out in a really weird spot, and I think I accidentally moved this. I guess that was the last time I was messing around with this. One of the other things that I noticed is that when I hit the F keys to see like what I can do, F5 is just mixed right in there, and F5 saves the map. So I've completely ruined this level. I wish there was like there's really no way to solve that without having to have some kind of an extra feature which just bloats things all the more. Bloat. I really like the meshes. Now, they appear to have collision built into them, which is good from the modeling tool. So when you export, you get collision on the objects. They don't seem to have any physics or anything like that. However, this is still a really fantastic start for tech like this. I mean, I could definitely picture playing a game, you know, using this engine and the lighting, just global illumination, handling everything. Once I figure out how to move the sunlight, yeah, this is definitely a really damn good start for an engine. I mean, this is solid. I could picture doing all kinds of stuff with this, but I really got to stress, make sure your hierarchical instancing is solid, because you can't just depend on the models for everything. But I don't know. Well, I'm going to be keeping my eyes on this. This Tesseract and allows for you to level design while people are blowing each other up and killing each other. Let's see. Actually, I want to add some bots. Where is it? It's F12 screenshot. Haha. Yeah, let's see. Add 9 bots. Oh well, time to level design. Do 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 do. Yeah. Let's see. I'm gonna drill a little tiny hole right through the middle of this. That's weird. Oh, hey, what the hell? I'm trying to build a level over here. Alright. Alright. That's weird. Alright. Alright, everybody, that's Tesseract. Definitely keep your eyes out on this one. I really do think that engines like this are going to be the future. It's just such an early time right now to them. And they've been actually around for a while. Cube's been around for a long time, but I really do think there's a chance for this type of thing to catch on, and it changes the entire development pipeline from the ground up. Click like and subscribe. See you around. Stay tuned for more.
The evil that satisfies your crave. The evil that satisfies your crave.